So, now that we've established moving the material from the gutter brooms underneath the machine, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the suction hood, what makes the global suction hood a little bit different than what the competition's doing, and some nice features that we have giving the operator control over adjustments for the various material that they're getting into inside the cab. So you'll notice on our hood, it is a little bit narrower than what you might find on a typical full-size sweeper. Again, I discussed a 10-foot wide sweep path. We accomplish a lot of that width with our gutter brooms. That allows us the ability to have a little bit narrower hood. So this hood that's on the machine right now is 71 inches. Your standard hood on most chassis mounted street sweepers that are regenerative air is going to be a 90-inch wide hood. Now, why is a narrower hood more beneficial than a wider hood? There's actually a few things that come into play that are beneficial to having that narrower hood. One, the way a regenerative air machine works is you have a fan that's pressurizing an upper chamber and blasting air on one side of the machine, on the left-hand side of the machine, and that air is using that pressure and force to move the debris that's underneath the machine to the right-hand side of the machine where it's suctioned up. Having a narrower hood means that material has to travel less distance before it can get up in the airstream. So that allows you to pick up heavier material quicker with this narrower hood. Okay. One of the other features and benefits of having a narrower hood is that you'll notice the suction hood on this is within the width of the wheels, the tires on this. Okay. Anybody that's had a full-size hood and has run it for a long time is aware that the wider that hood is, the more contact or probability it has of coming in contact with curb lines and also obstructions in the road, which can lead to bending, twisting, and damaging that narrower hood, or that wider hood. So having a narrower hood helps you to avoid those instances where you might come in contact with a curb line around a corner or a median on a street that you're trying to navigate around or negotiate around, and helps to protect that hood from getting damaged. And then the last thing that really is beneficial of having a narrower hood is the way a regenerative air hood works best is if it maintains a nice tight seal with the road surface. Now, not everybody has perfectly smooth road surfaces. Most municipalities will have potholes. They'll have storm grates, manhole covers, imperfections in the road. Anytime you break that tight seal with the road surface, air is going to want to travel the path of least resistance. Oftentimes you'll be falling behind the machine. That's when you see these puffs and clouds of debris that's coming out, and you'll see the machine trailing. By having a narrower hood, we have a less probability of breaking that seal and losing that suction power at the road surface. There are three benefits also, or features that we have on our hood that I'd like to point out and show you today. One is on the back of the hood. We have a hinged door with 3 clips on it. You can pop those clips open up that back door, and you can inspect the upper chamber of this hood. As I mentioned, the hood is not an open box to the ground. There's actually 2 chambers in it. What's happening is your air is pressurizing an upper chamber here, and the only area that air can escape is through a very narrow opening that runs the whole width of the back of the machine, or back of the hood. That's blasting forward and down on the debris, lifting it off the road surface, creating a vortex, agitating that material and moving it to the right-hand side of the machine where it's being suctioned up here. So it's important to have quick and easy access to be able to inspect that on a regular basis, clean it out physically if necessary, and make sure that you have good airflow through the system. Another feature that we have is inside the cab, we give the operator the ability to control a front curtain. Now, mounted on top of the hood, pointing forward, is a hydraulic cylinder. You can actuate a switch inside the cab, and that will extend an arm forward that rotates and lifts the front curtain up, and that allows you to ingest bulkier, lighter material. We're thinking about things like leaves and pine straw or large piles of garbage maybe you're picking up after a parade or something like that in a downtown area. And if you think you're going to get into a situation where you're bulldozing that lighter material, operator can simply hit a switch in the cab and go ahead and raise that front curtain and allow that material to get underneath the hood. And oftentimes that's used in conjunction with a third feature I want to talk about. On the blast glass side or the pressurized side of that hood is a little box, and we have an air bleed system there. So inside the cab we have a handle that has 5 positions and allows the operator from inside the cab to open or close a door that releases pressure in that upper chamber. You can open it all the way up and basically turn that regenerative air hood into a straight suction hood, and it allows you to go over that lighter, bulkier debris we were talking about and just truly just suck it up when you don't need that pressure to lift and agitate heavy material, rather just ingest a bunch of bulky material like those leaves and pine straw we were talking about earlier.